Yeah, I want to go into that a little bit more. So you have talked a lot about like content assembly lines, really, really being able to scale your content production, doing more with less. You have this really, really great content framework. I'm a huge proponent for video first because video is the hardest to do. Once you start with video, you can really, really, sky's the limit on what you can take that piece of content and turn it into. Like you said, Devin, you can take the video, take the script, and there it is, your text content. So Devin, you have a video or a content creation framework. I'm gonna pull that slide up, and I'd love to hear you talk about that content assembly line approach and how this framework can help teams scale building mindshare building content. So let me pull up that slide here.
Absolutely. And shout out to Jillian. She said, when I think of Devin, I think of content waterfalls. Fun fact, that we all know the TLC song, Don't Go Chase Someone. I'm not going to sing because I can't. Fun fact, when I was a kid, I thought it was Don't Go Jason Waterfalls. And I always wondered who this Jason guy was until I was much older. So fun fact on content today. Yeah. So, okay, this was something that I came up with. Maybe I wasn't the first. Who knows where an idea originates. But when I started as head of content, I was just a team of one. And then, eventually I got my first hire. And so what we had to do is figure out how can me and this guy, Jonathan, how do we create as much high quality content as possible, knowing that we're pretty limited in, the hours in the day. And so what we decided to do was put all of our eggs in the original research basket. So if anyone's familiar with Gong Labs, we would basically analyze millions of data points of different sales interactions, and we would find these counterintuitive insights. And once we had one of those, that's when we realized, hey, we can publish this in our primary channel. So think of the big green box thought leadership report, right? Usually a written asset. And then we can repurpose and distribute it at the same time. So we would say, great, we have a blog post. Now we're going to make 3 LinkedIn posts just based off of this data point. And the post would vary based on different angles, right? Ways you could apply this. Why is it counterintuitive? Reframes, right? So there's different ways you can kind of slice and dice it. And then what we do is we would look for signals and say, how did people react to this? Do we get we also distribute it via email. So do we get email replies? Did we get a lot of LinkedIn engagement? And if we kind of hit this tipping point of it feels good and we've got some benchmark engagement metrics, then we would repurpose into a webinar, right? You've already got the data. You already have a lot of talking points via this different content you've used to distribute it. And now you've got a webinar. After the webinar, what do you have? You've got video clips, right? So you can see how this cascades down or waterfalls down from an original primary source. And this is the kind of methodology, if you will, that I always tell different B2B marketing teams that they should consider, because if you just try to create all those green boxes from scratch, that's how you get spread really thin. Typically burnout goes up and quality goes down just because we are spread too thin. And so this is one way that I like to both recycle and reuse content to basically double to triple the ROI of your content efforts.